Pixar, or Disney's Pixar, is one of the most popular and successful animation studios in history. Founded in 1979 as part of Lucasfilm's computer graphics division, which is ironic considering that Disney owns both Pixar and Lucasfilm, they are, or they were, praised not only for their innovations in computer graphics, but storytelling as well. Their films are so acclaimed and so popular that I don't even need to go over them because I'm pretty sure you know them all. But what most people don't know is the actual history of Pixar. Now, most people seem to think that Disney's always owned Pixar, that they created Pixar, but that's just not true. Pixar actually got its start way back in 1974 as a part of the New York Institute of Technology's Computer Graphics Lab. The members of the Computer Graphics Lab, including members such as Edwin Catmull, were soon hired by George Lucas to work at Lucasfilm on special effects in such films as Star Wars: Return of the Jedi and Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. I could make a whole video about this, but simply put, Lucas sells the division and is quickly bought by Apple's Steve Jobs, and so Pixar was officially established in February of 1986. Now back then, CGI was still in its infancy, and because of that, it was very difficult for the new studio to find investors. Their main output wasn't feature films, but short films such as The Adventures of Andre and Wally B, Tin Toy, Knick Knack, Luxo Jr., Red's Dream, and commercials.
I'm dry, I don't have any ideas. You're the best. Come on, pitch me something.
What about starting with inanimate objects, you know? Like appliances or toys or lamps or something like that.
Yeah. Like a lamp?
Eventually, Pixar caught the interest of Walt Disney Studios, who were interested in using their custom software to produce traditional animation digitally. All that would change when in 1995, Toy Story became the first fully CG animated feature film. They made more films, all of which were commercially and critically successful, and that's where we are today. Kinda. Currently, Pixar Animation Studios is located in Emeryville, California, which is where they moved to after being located in Point Richmond, California. Now, sometime in 2001, after the completion of the short For the Birds, Pixar released a DVD called Pixar Made in Point Richmond, which was a collection of some of the work that Pixar had done at their old studio in Point Richmond, California. Now, this DVD was only given to employees at Pixar at that time, and as such is exceptionally rare and nearly impossible to get your hands on, unless you know somebody that worked at Pixar at that time. Up until now, all we had were pictures of the DVD and the box that it came in. Now, the insert on the DVD has a list of all the contents on the DVD, and some of the contents were considered lost for a long time. I personally thought that the DVD was never going to see the light of day, unless a Pixar employee managed to sell it to somebody, when all of a sudden, a Lost Media Wiki user named Jarrett's35 claimed to have the DVD, showed proof of having the DVD, and ripped it online. It's kinda anticlimactic, but hey, I'm just glad it's out there. So thanks to Jarrett's35, the Lost Media Wiki, and Lost Media Wiki in general for finding this DVD and getting the word out. Now with that out the way, let's explore Pixar's Made in Point Richmond DVD. The DVD is split into 4 sections: short films, trailers and effects, television, and party videos. Because as I said before, this DVD was only made for Pixar employees. Now what's great about this DVD is that there's a lot of content, so much in fact that it would take forever to get through all of it. So I'm going to kind of skip around and talk about what I think is the most interesting stuff on this DVD. So first I'm going to mention 2 shorts, Blown in the Wind and Flags and Waves. So Blown in the Wind was a short animation test created in 1985. It's just grass blowing in the wind. How interesting. But this short is significant because for a long time this was lost. This was one of the few Pixar shorts animation tests that we just didn't have, but now thanks to the DVD we have it. Same thing with Flags and Waves, another animation test that was long thought lost, but now we have it. I don't know what it is about this one in particular, but something about it is just very beautiful and very nice. Now, the other short films on this DVD have been commercially available for years, and you can watch them, and you've probably seen them before. And you can find them officially on the Pixar Short Film Volume 1 collection on Blu-ray and DVD. Before hitting it big with their first feature film, Toy Story, Pixar could only find work making commercials for a variety of brands and products, such as Kellogg's, Tropicana, Levi's, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Lifesavers, Listerine, and the California Lottery. And who could forget the company that owned a majority of Pixar at the time, Apple. Pixar had an entire division dedicated to making nothing but commercials that was officially shut down on July 8th, 1996 after the success of Toy Story. This division was important because it helped establish Pixar's identity after they struck out on their own as an independent studio. Their commercial work would define their style because of the creative freedom they were given, and would give directors such as John Lasseter, Pete Docter, and Andrew Stanton their first jobs directing. Pixar still makes commercials now, but they're mostly just timed with their IPs such as Toy Story and The Incredibles. According to PixarTalk.com, there are apparently 79 commercials made by the commercial division, made between 1989 and 1996. And even though a majority of them have been found, and a lot of them are on the Made in Point Richmond DVD, some of them are still lost. John Lasseter explains on the DVD intro that they're legally not allowed to release most of the commercials on the DVD because they don't own the rights to them.
All this is copyrighted, of course, but we don't own the copyrights to most of this stuff, so therefore we beg of you, please don't sell this. This is for you guys, the employees alone, for our enjoyment and for our archives.
So if you want to see where Pixar's style came from, or you want to watch some old CG animation, check these commercials out. And speaking of lost media, now what has got to be the most valuable thing on this DVD is an award acceptance speech made by Jessie from Toy Story when she was honored with the Patsy Montana Entertainer Award by the National Cowgirl Museum and Hall of Fame in 2000. The speech was only shown at the awards show, and up until this point hasn't been released publicly. For the longest time, a small excerpt of the speech could be found on a Pixar training video, but the guy who made the video said that he didn't have it and didn't know where to find it.
I just don't know.
And the museum itself didn't have the animation either, until now, where thanks to the DVD being ripped, the acceptance speech is now publicly available and you can watch it right now on YouTube. Besides that, there's not really that much else to talk about on the DVD, other than the Christmas party videos filled with people that I don't know, performing skits and stuff like that.
Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
What are you doing?
And that's about it. Overall, I'm glad that Made in Point Richmond, this extremely rare, mysterious DVD, was found and released on the internet for everyone to see, even if Pixar doesn't really want us to.
Please don't sell this.
In fact, I planned to make this video last year, but life got in the way and I just kind of put it down, and all of a sudden, here it is. There are a few things that I didn't mention, just because if I did, we'd be here all day long. But if you're curious about the DVD, you can find it on the Lost Media Wiki, and I'll provide a link in the description. This era of Pixar's history is extremely important, and its preservation is also extremely important, I think. And now we finally have a large part of it preserved with this obscure DVD that probably wasn't supposed to go public like this, made in Point Richmond, California. I'm Zero Knight, thanks for watching, and to infinity and beyond. Did you know that Pixar created their own computer? So basically, when Pixar was still a part of Lucasfilm, they created this computer called the Pixar Image Computer that was designed for high-end commercial and scientific markets. Back then, in 1986, it was actually pretty powerful, but it was also extremely expensive. It cost $135,000, but also required a $35,000 workstation from Sun Microsystems or Silicon Graphics, which is the equivalent of $380,000 in today's money. That's insane. And if you can believe it, it wasn't that successful, selling less than 300 machines.
I love crowds. We're in the business of selling computers, right? But there's something about having crowds around that feels good.
And as of now, it's nearly impossible to find, especially out in the wild. And that's the story of the one time that Pixar made a computer, the end.